Donc maintenant on est avec monsieur Robert Mitchell d'Apex. On va partir faire un tour avec sa superbe GT2 RS Monte Racing et il va nous expliquer un petit peu les différences qu'il y a avec une GT2 RS normale. So Robert, if you will.
I'd be glad to.
Let's go. Let's go for a ride.
Very stiff. Yeah?
Very stiff.
But it actually doesn't drive that bad considering once you get actually on the road and you'll feel the bumps. It's obviously much stiffer than maybe your Mercedes or something like that, but
for sure.
Compared to a lot of track cars, it still is reasonable on the street.
Yeah, it's true. It's not. It seems even less than SVJ.
Yeah, probably.
Nurburgring. The seats are way comfier. I can say.
These are some of the best seats that you can get in a lot of the different sports cars, I believe.
Yeah. So yours is just is a specific Manthey Racing GT2 RS?
Yeah, so this is a GT2 RS with the Visoc package.
Yeah.
And then it's been to Manthey Racing for their full, what they call an MR kit.
Okay.
And the MR kit is basically what Manthey Racing did to improve the GT2 RS to be the fastest car on the Nurburgring, essentially.
Okay.
They had their lap time set with the normal GT2 Porsche did, and then they upgraded their aerodynamics, their suspension. They went to a full three-way adjustable front suspension, four-way adjustable rear. And with that, Porsche factory driver Lars Kern did a 640.3 full lap on the Nurburgring.
Which is incredible for a car that's street legal.
Very fast, yeah, very, very fast. And so this car is obviously a replica or carbon copy of the car that did that lap record. And when I was looking at different cars, I really like special cars. I like cars that are exciting and different things. And to be honest with you, for me, Porsche looks the same as every other Porsche. You know what I mean? A GT2 looks like a GT3 RS, which looks like a GT3, which we could take it all the way down to whatever.
An 911, yeah.
And so for me, it was really something that I wanted, a special car, and I knew that it had to look, a certain way, which obviously could not just look away; it had to back it up with performance. Yeah. And so I've been talking with the guys at Manthey quite a bit, and finally they said, "Okay, Robert, the only thing you can do is a GT2 RS MR," and that was where this came about. So this was something we put together last year with Manthey Racing.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it.
Do you know how many GT2 RS MR there is?
I don't know exactly because they're continuing. When a customer comes, they'll build a new one. But if I had to guess, they're probably around 30 by now. So,
yeah, so
not
it's definitely not a lot.
It's not a lot. They're doing them, a handful of them down in Australia. We've got some going to Dubai and different parts of the Middle East, London.
Okay.
One is a French gentleman that has one that a lot of your followers will probably know, and it really is. It's just such a great car. No matter what you do with it, if it's GP tracks, Nordschleife, etc., you can just have so much fun with it, and it's reliable lap after lap after lap.
Yeah. And the engine is stock, as you said.
The engine's stock. A lot of times I'm American. And America's all about horsepower. It doesn't matter.
Straight line.
It doesn't matter how much your car weighs, how good it can turn. Does it have 1,000 horsepower? And that's it. And something that you learn when you really get to racetracks, and especially the Nurburgring, you learn very quick that power doesn't matter. Obviously, I'm saying that sitting in a 700 horsepower car, but the last thing I'm looking to do is tune it to 800 horsepower or even 750. It's just not needed.
Yeah.
It's just not needed. So.
And that's why you went to Manthey Racing and not, I don't know, Gambala, Roof, or whatever.
Exactly, because other people would say what you need is, more turbos and more power. And really what you actually need is you need aerodynamics, you need suspension, and you need to drive the car. That's really what it comes down to. So yeah, on this car you have, from an optical standpoint, you've got a large larger wing. You've got bigger end plates. It sits higher. It sits further back.
Okay.
The rear of the car has, I believe, somewhere around 107 kilograms downforce more than stock. And because of that, what they had to do was the rear, on the GT3 RS and the GT2 RS, the rear deck lid, the actual engine cover or trunk, if you want to call it that, is what the wing mounts to.
Okay.
But because of the additional downforce that the wing creates, they needed to adjust how the wing is mounted, and now it's actually mounted to the chassis.
Yeah, so that it doesn't bend. Oh,
it doesn't bend, exactly.
So it doesn't bend with the dampers.
Exactly. It's another neat thing here at the Nurburgring. You see everything, you know.
That's crazy.
We just have been watching the GT Black Series getting tested for the last year.
Yeah.
You know, from AMG, and that's a really cool car. We see a lot of really neat stuff before it actually hits the public eye, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and another prototype right in front of us. That's insane.
It's cool, huh?
Yeah, that's so cool. I'm really surprised how comfortable it is.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's exceptionally comfortable for such a powerful car.
Yeah, I mean, you could, if you wanted to, you could daily drive it. You might get a little bit annoyed with your Bluetooth phone because the engine's a little loud, but I think you can turn that off, you know, maybe upshift a little bit.
Yeah.
You can get away with it, you know?
Definitely, and you don't need to shout to speak to each other.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
So it's a great car that you could take it on a trip, and as you feel, the suspension is actually quite nice once you're going.
Yeah. I mean, the road is pretty nice.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah, the road is pretty nice, but still, it's not too hardcore.
Yeah, so like I was saying, there's 107 kilograms of downforce more on the rear. That's made up of the wing. There's a big carbon diffuser on the back as well. So there's a carbon diffuser. Then as you go around, one of the things that you notice immediately is the gold wheels that we did. But they're a special wheel that was made for Manti Racing from BBS.
Yeah.
They're magnesium, so very lightweight. They have the wheel discs on them, the carbon discs.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were always asking me, are those carbon discs for brake cooling, or what are they?
Brake cooling, no.
But they're actually for airflow. They manage the airflow around the car. And the wing is set up, and obviously the more wing angle you have, the more downforce you have.
Yeah.
But the more wing angle you have, the more drag you have.
So you can interact with the...
So we put the wheel discs on, and that gives us more downforce because the air is managed more properly around the car, and it lets us put the wing down 2 degrees more flat and get the same downforce, which means less drag, and better acceleration to the turns.
Ah, that's cool.
So that's the idea behind that.
Okay.
Then on the front, you have the flicks on the front bumper. You've got the little arrow canards, and that obviously just channels air and manages the airflow around the car. The car is obviously substantially lower, which I think you noticed.
Yeah,
so the
definitely.
car is quite a bit lower. 3-way adjustable suspension on the front, 4-way adjustable suspension on the rear. We have underneath, Manti Racing has derived a carbon fiber under tray underneath the car, which is similar to what you would see like in a GT3 race car. So it has more air canards that basically channel the air out from underneath the car and help to create a lower pressure zone so that the car is actually sucked back down to the ground. The car has an intercooler system that is charged by water, so it cools the intake charge with water. And if you have a 90-liter fuel tank in this car and you were on the Nordschleife and you were doing lap after lap, you might on a warm day run your water tank out before you would run the fuel out of the car. So what Manti Racing has is another coolant tank that sits on top of the stock one, and that expands the water tank capacity so that we can run enough distilled water to keep the charge cool long enough to do at least a full tank of fuel. So
yeah, one full tank.
It depends on the temperature outside. You know, obviously the intake temperatures are higher, so it would need more water. On a cooler day like today, where it's, well, I say cooler, it's 20 degrees out, but on a cooler day where the sun's not shining, the track temperatures aren't up, maybe you'll get 2 laps out of it. Or not 2 laps, 2 tanks of fuel.
2 tanks.
2 tanks of fuel. And on a really hot day, if it's 40 plus degrees, then yeah, you'll go through one tank of water per 1 tank of fuel.
Okay.
But no, overall, it's been a great, absolutely fantastic car from the reliability.
It still feels like every other Porsche.
It's not bad,
insane.
Like I said, when you start getting on it a little bit, you know, you really feel what it can do.
It's so natural.
It's all natural, yep.
Is it the stock exhaust?
Stock exhaust.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Porsche did a really nice job with this exhaust. It's funny, so many people get in our cars, whether it be my Pista or this or the 675,
Yeah.
and they say this sounds so much better than any other one that I've been in, and I don't know if it's because we run them only on the track and the exhaust is baked and, you know, cats are blown out.
That might be the case.
Yeah, but the cars that we run hard tend to sound better.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
And now we're back at the Nurburgring.
Yeah, we're back at the Nurburgring, yeah.
Do you prefer the Nordschleife or the GP track?
Hands down the Nordschleife. It's
Yeah.
not even a
Not even
question,
close.
yeah. You know, it's an interesting thing. The Nordschleife is a lot of people's dream. You know, it's
For sure.
you know, I came from America and California, and people don't get to just drive 5 hours to the Nurburgring. You know, it has to be a trip that you plan out that's maybe 10 to 18 hours worth of air travel and things like that.
Yeah, and it's another cost as well.
Exactly. And you know, you don't have your own car when you get there, so you need a rental car, and it's a lot more complicated. You can't do it for a weekend. And there's a reason that people all over the world know the Nurburgring, right? And they're not talking about the GP track when they're talking about going to the Nurburgring. They're talking about the Nordschleife. The Nordschleife is what people talk about. It's what people lust after. It's what they want to go see. It's where their heart is, and it's really no comparison to GP track to the Nordschleife, to be honest.
Yeah, I understand.
It takes a certain level of skill to drive the Nordschleife very fast. It takes a commitment and a lot of respect as well. You can go out on the GP track without that respect. You can go out there without that, you know, and go fast without that skill because there's runoff. You're not worried about it. But that's what makes the Nurburgring so, how can I put it? People ask me, Robert, do you not get tired of the Nurburgring? You've done going on 6,000 laps now on the Nurburgring. Do you get tired of it? No, because no matter what, every time you go out, it could kick your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you always have to have that respect for it, and you're driving maybe different cars, and you know, the way a car comes alive on the Nurburgring is totally different than on different tracks. You know, there's bumps, there's dips, there's crevices, there's light bankings.
Yeah, it's like driving your favorite road.
It is.
It's not just a racetrack, and once you know the lines and stuff, it's okay. Yeah, and I think the surface of the Nurburgring changes all the time, and the bumps are not the same year after year because
they're even making changes to it. The ground's moving.
Yeah.
There's so much going on with it. It's literally like it's alive. You know what I mean? And even lap after lap, we could go out for a lap. As you saw, it rained earlier, and then it dries up. So 2 laps are nowhere near the same back to back because the track's drying, right? And as the track dries, you have wet spots and dry spots, and you need to recognize what those spots are and what they mean. And so you really have to pay attention and learn the track. So it doesn't matter how many laps you have, there's always something more to learn about it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for the ride.
It was my pleasure.
I'm very impressed with this car.
Pretty cool car.
I thought it was like so stiff, so raw. So it's actually, yeah, you can drive it on road. Definitely.
You can drive it on the road, no doubt. But at the same time, it's the fastest road car on the Nurburgring. So it's pretty neat to see that balance.
Yeah, and only 30 units in the world. So you wanted a special car, you have a special car.
But you know, if they will build more, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Who knows? For them, I hope they get to 2, 3, 4, maybe 1,000. I don't know. You know, it's great for them to see because they put a lot of research and development in the car, and as you can see, it works.
Yeah.
It's incredibly fast on the Nurburgring, and we just went for a drive talking the whole time and enjoyed it.
Yeah, super casually.
Yep.
Thank you.
My pleasure.